Today, the Georgia Supreme Court began deciding the fate of a Dougherty County case that made national headlines in 2014.
Susan Embert walked free in May after a Dougherty County Superior Court judge overturned her guilty conviction. She was originally serving a life sentence for her husband's murder, which was initially ruled a suicide. But for months, it's been a back and forth battle as the DA fights for a retrial.
WALB News 10's Lena Allen breaks down the arguments that were presented in the High Court earlier today.
This appellant contends that the trial court abused its discretion by misstating and misapplying the law.
The state is standing firm in its fight for a retrial of the Susan Embert case, but her defense is fighting back.
When you don't have a lawful jury, you don't have a jury at all unless you don't have a trial by jury. And that's really the animating principle here.
Back in 2019, Susan Embert was found guilty of all the charges she was facing in connection to her husband, Jake Embert's death, which was initially ruled a suicide. But in February 2024, Embert was granted a retrial after it was discovered there was a convicted felon on the jury. Dougherty County Judge Willie Lockett then argued that there was a 9-year delay in her trial, which led to the case's dismissal. The state argues there should be a retrial because they never violated Embert's right to a speedy trial, and they weren't responsible for the jury error.
I believe by taking Williams and the common law and putting it together with Bowman, that based on those two cases together, that trial is a jurisdictional error and it's void.
But Embert's lawyer says it would be against the law for the dismissal to be reversed.
When we look at this case, when we take a broad view, what we find are two constitutional violations: the right to a jury trial.
In this case, the argument is not about the facts or guilt and innocence, but it comes down to what the Dougherty County judge says were errors throughout this case. Now, the Supreme Court will decide if convicted murderer Susan Embert will have to stand trial again. Lena Allen, WALB, your hometown news source.